Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel. If you're not here for any kind of negativity, then maybe segue this video. But if you want to hear about my problem with Graham Potter, then please be sure to let me know if you have a problem with him, if you don't have a problem with him, or if you simply want to question any of my rationale or any of my comments in this video. Let me know your thoughts on where you're sitting right now as Chelsea fans in the comments down below with our still technically new manager. But in the grander scheme of footballing terms, how long can Graham Potter continue to get results like the Nottingham Forest draw last night? Not just results, but pitiful performances that have been characteristic of Chelsea all season long. We've also got to mention positives when we talk about negatives, because I know that a lot of people just look at the title of this video and potentially the angry nature of the thumbnail, which is designed to get you guys to want to click on said video. You might just look at this and be like, oh god, here we go. There's another YouTuber just trying to go on the Potter out train because, well, maybe he didn't make any videos for 2 months and he wants to get some views on the channel. I've got a problem with Graham Potter that involves various different things, whilst at the same time trying to still go through my own transition as a fan of Abramovich, what we did, the success we had, brand new era. We're still kind of fortunate to even have a football club. I know it was very unlikely that we were going to see Chelsea go into the ground and into the grave, but there was a moment or two earlier on in 2022 when I was like, this is actually pretty bleak. What's going to happen here? Is it going to be somebody coming in who's never going to want to spend money, who is going to want to run Chelsea Football Club as an economic entity to just make some more cash and then sell on again in a few more years? We're never going to get another Roman Abramovich. And Todd Boehly, I think in order to talk about Graham Potter and the issue I have, we need to give the context behind what we've seen from Todd Boehly so far. There are a lot of people, myself included, who kind of just put my head in my hands when I listen to some of the things that Todd Boehly says, where we can clearly see that he's not necessarily the most football-orientated bloke and businessman on the planet. That is a given. I don't think anyone can really negotiate that idea whatsoever. But what we can see so far is that there is a vision. We are spending masses of money. We are moving quickly for players. Yes, we missed out on a couple, but we're also moving quickly, and we are looking to be able to build a squad and a team that is not just competitive for now, but is competitive for the foreseeable future, to allow Chelsea to maintain our position at the top of Europe and England's footballing pyramid. That's where we've been. That's where I think we belong. And I think that is what the expenditure from Todd Boehly is suggesting as to the forward-thinking vision at the club. So far, still far too early to judge Boehly. We also have to look at the congruence between what he said he wants to do and then what he does. Now, Thomas Tuchel, we have heard in recent months, was not the man that Boehly envisaged as the person to carry forward his idea as to how this new Chelsea project should go. As a result of that, he looks across the footballing world and he probably gets a couple of these from a couple of world-class managers that we have cycled and cycled and cycled through, and he probably looks at it and thinks, well, we've already had pretty much all of the world-class top managers in the world that are feasible, other than Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, but we're never going to get those two. So what do we do? How do I see this going? He looks at Brighton, he looks at the overachievement, he looks at the tactical brilliance at times that we saw from Graham Potter at Brighton, the in-game management from Graham Potter to change games in Brighton's favour, even when they didn't seem to have the same calibre of footballer as some of their opponents. Todd Boehly's looked at that and he's thought, right, Thomas isn't the man. We're going to move fast. Again, we're not going to wait around. Todd goes and gets the GP. Graham Potter, the general practitioner, I think they're known as in the UK. So, my problem with Graham Potter, after what we have seen so far, very good in the Champions League. Some brilliant results against AC Milan. Chelsea are through to the knockout rounds of the competition, and we have got a mouth-watering tie to look forward to against Borussia Dortmund. However, the Champions League is looking as though the only way we're going to be competitive in this competition in the foreseeable future is if we win it again this year, because we're 8th in the Premier League table. We are 18 points away from the league leaders Arsenal. We have been sitting here on our thrones screaming about how London has been blue for years and years and years, and all of a sudden we have just got the red paint poured all over us. We're not even going to talk about white paint because Tottenham have never had London in their pockets, but Arsenal have pocketed Spurs and Chelsea this season, and the reason for that is I don't know how Chelsea can finish in the top 4, and I know that we might sign a load more players in January. If you haven't seen the news video from earlier today we might even complete 2 signings in just the second day of the transfer window. We're looking to break our transfer record again to sign Enzo Fernandez. This is, whether we say trust the process or not, there is a process happening at Chelsea Football Club right now, but is Graham Potter going to be able to cope with what Chelsea need to achieve in order for us all to be still happy and for Todd Boehly to not go down as an owner who just spent a load of money to run a football club who are never going to really hit the glory days that we've seen in the past? That's what I'm thinking at the moment, because the reason I'm questioning Graham Potter is because 4 wins out of 10 in the Premier League, which at times in the past you could go through stages of form for a quarter of the season or just over a quarter of the season and win only 40% of your matches and still get top 4. Nowadays that isn't doable. We've got Eddie Howe coming in at Newcastle doing a sensational job, and they're now the richest club in world football. You've got Arsenal, who have trusted the process with Mikel Arteta. They have been going through different phases after Arsene Wenger. They're on the up and they're top of the league. You've got City, the juggernauts. You've got Liverpool, about to be taken over again, but there's been success there for years. You've got Manchester United, who look as though things are beginning to click under Erik ten Hag. You've still got Spurs with a world-class manager, but Deadwood kind of squad, but they're also Tottenham, they don't win anything anyway. Chelsea have got their work cut out, and that is before we even deal with how we manage the games in-game, how we try somehow to motivate these players. And I must admit, I put it on Twitter earlier today, the reason I think Graham Potter isn't helping anything right now is because Chelsea teams in the past, right, when a new manager has come in, there have been such massive personalities within these managers where we've sat here for years and years talking about players not looking hungry, players not looking as though they've got the desire and the will to really fight for things when we've already won so much. We'd win the Premier League and then we'd lose Jose Mourinho because we're 10th or 16th in the Premier League table or something daft. Is Graham Potter doing enough to motivate a group of players that, majority of them are European champions? I want to totally forget about all of this story that we've heard people give saying, Thomas Tuchel won the Champions League with this Chelsea squad. We've lost Rudiger, we've lost Christensen, we've lost Timo Werner, we've lost a lot of the players in that team that won us the Champions League. It isn't true. Reece James and Ben Chilwell are never fit. We do not have the same team that we did when we won the Champions League. Graham Potter needs to do more, I think, in-game, on the sidelines. We need to see as fans a bit more enthusiasm, a bit more fight and passion, because the interview that we saw from Graham Potter after that game yesterday, I don't think he's watching the same as we are. I think maybe he doesn't want to just go in on the players because he's already struggling to get them to work with what he's trying to get them to do in the first place. So if he goes out there in the press and just bashes them, a lot of these players, I don't know, but maybe a lot of them are just going to turn around and be like, well, they don't really get what you're trying to get us to do anyway, and it's not working. So at the moment, as a fan, I want to give this man time because I feel like we've got no choice, which has never been the case at Chelsea because, yeah, we hire and fire, but we still get trophies. We still win things. Are we going to win things with this squad? No. Are we going to win things even if we spend money? At the moment, I don't know, because I'm not seeing any changes from what made us have a poor start to the season and Todd Boehly sacked Thomas Tuchel in the first place. So my problem is, Graham Potter has come in, but what is changing? Is anything changing? Do we have to wait for Todd Boehly to spend over £1 billion just so that Graham Potter's got his players? I think if you're going to bring in a coach for a long-term project, you've got to be able to work with some of the brilliant talents that Chelsea already have, and it needs to work just like that, because this is a results-based business. Chelsea aren't getting results, and then, as a result of said results, we will then not be able to get results in the future, because you need Champions League football to attract the best players. Do Chelsea have the best players in the Premier League right now? Absolutely not. Do we want them and need them to compete? Yes, we do. So, we need to somehow manage to buy an entire new spine to this football team. We thought Kalidou Koulibaly could be that centre-back. I don't think he is. Enzo Fernandez would be that central midfielder. Declan Rice would be a brilliant option as well as Enzo Fernandez if Todd Boehly is going to go out and spend as much money as we are hearing he's going to do. I don't know where else we go with this. Can Potter do it? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But at the moment, I'm not enthusiastic because I'm not seeing anything different to what made us sack our European title winning manager just a few months ago. So, I'm not saying Graham Potter out, but I am saying he's got to get results quickly, because we can't be finishing in the mid-table this season after everything we've spent and the quality that is still there. He's got to make these guys work for him. But anyway, thoughts in the comments down below, please. I'll see you tomorrow with more news. Come on, you Blues.